Hey there, Barkley Brookers. All right, you're in for a treat. We're not reading the whole thing today. We're going to do half, and then next week we'll finish up the other half of this story. It's one of my favorites, and if you are a fan of Junie B or Ready Freddy or Clementine or any of those stories, Stink, this is Dory Fantasmagory. She has quite a wild imagination. This is a series. There are a few other ones, and I'm pretty sure that they are at the public library, so when everything starts to open up again, if you would like, you can go read more stories of Dory Fantasmagory. And when you get back to Barkley Brook, I have the entire series in our library. All right? So, this is book 1, Dory Fantasmagory by Abby Hanlon. You find out about her. Chapter 1, Such a Baby. My name is Dory, but everyone calls me Rascal. This is my family. I am the little kid. Mom, Dad, brother, sister, and Dory. My sister's name is Violet, and my brother's name is Luke. Violet's the oldest. Violet and Luke never want to play with me. They say I'm a baby. Mom, Rascal's bothering us. What is she doing? Calls my mother. She's looking at us. She's breathing. All summer long, whenever I try to play with Luke and Violet, they say, please leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave, but I can't think of what to say, so I ask questions. Any question I can think of. Brody, 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 stop. You need to turn that off and you need to bring that somewhere else, honey. Sorry, my friends, he is in rare form today. What does please mean? Why do we have armpits? How do they make plastic? Those are some of Rascal's questions. I can't wait for school to start so we can get a break from Rascal, says Violet. Me too, grumbles Luke. Don't talk about school. I cover my ears. I never want the summer to end. I like to stay home in my nightgown instead of getting dressed for school. It's a winter nightgown, said Violet. And it's inside out, says Luke. And it's backwards, says Violet. So what, I say. So, now that you turned 6, you need to stop acting like such a baby. Why do you always call me a baby? I complain. Because you talk to yourself, says Violet. You have temper tantrums, says Luke. And you play with monsters, says Violet. Talk to myself. I have no idea what they're talking about. I never talk to myself. I talk to my friend Mary. No one can see her except for me. There she is. She's saying, Mary, it's lunchtime. Mary always wants to play with me. She thinks I'm the greatest. At night, Mary sleeps under my bed. There they are. Why do we have armpits? What an interesting question. What's the opposite of a sandwich? I've always wondered that. During the day, Mary follows me around. She wants to do whatever I'm doing. Usually I don't mind, but sometimes I have to tell her no. Sorry, Mary, I'm playing with Violet. No, you aren't. Okay, Mary, what do you want to play? I ask. Brody! Honey, it's still very loud. Can you take that into sister's room or into brother's room? Here are some things Mary likes to do. Try and steal Violet's doll, Cherry. Fake sleep. Sneak cookies from the high cabinet. Exercise club. Get dragged around the house in a laundry basket. Why are you talking to a laundry basket? Faster. Look for monsters. Mary's my favorite, but my house is actually full of monsters. There is the toilet monster, who comes into the bathroom if you sit on the toilet too long. There's the ketchup monster, who makes weird noises when you squeeze the ketchup. There's also the laundry monster, the broken drawer monster, the vacuum monster, the upstairs hallway monster, the living room monster, and more. Brody, turn off your truck, please. Turn it off. Those are all her different kinds of monsters. I try to warn Luke and Violet when I see one. Watch out, it's behind you! Oh, there's a monster in your underwear! Run, it's the vacuum monster, it's coming! But Luke and Violet don't appreciate it. Rascal is driving me crazy! Yeah, me too. What are we gonna do? Let's scare her back. I'll think of something. Think of something that'll get her to stop acting like such a baby. got an idea. After dinner, Violet and Luke say they have something important to tell me. I follow them upstairs, skipping steps. I'm so excited. What could it be? Violet lets me sit on her bed. Maybe she'll let me play with Cherry. Very slowly, Violet asks me, Rascal, have you ever heard of someone named Mrs. Gobblecracker? I shook my head no. Well, Mrs. Gobblecracker is a robber and she steals baby girls, says Violet. And she's 507 years old and has very sharp teeth, adds Luke. And, well, says Violet, you're going to be really surprised when I tell you this. What? I say. I'm dying to know. She's been looking for you, she says quickly. Are you serious? I ask. Dead serious, she says. Mrs. Gobblecracker's looking for me? I ask in amazement. Shh, says Luke. She's so scary, you have to whisper when you say her name like this. Mrs. Gobblecracker. So if I were you, I would stop acting like such a baby so she doesn't come get you, says Violet. For a moment, I'm quiet. This is a lot to think about. Luke and Violet stare at me as if they're waiting for me to cry. How will she get into the house? Does she come in the front door? Will she ring the doorbell? I ask them. Before they answer, I have some more questions. Is she sneaky? Will I have to battle her? Does she wear a long cape? Is it made out of fur? Is it real fur or fake fur? Are her teeth rotting? Does she brush them? Does she have a really creepy looking nose? Does she have a cat? Does she live in a cave? Does she have really long bones? We don't know! Leave us alone! They shout, shaking their heads and walking away fast. I follow Luke and Violet around the house. Oh my gosh, what have we done? Says Luke, covering his ears. Is she a vegetarian? Does she vote? Is she nocturnal? Does she like ice cream? Does she like anything? Is she powerful? Does she have a cell phone? Does she eat rubber chickens? This is the worst idea we've ever had, says Violet, trying to get away from me. Ever, says Luke. Ever, ever, ever. I don't even know what happens next, says Violet. Chapter 2. Did you hear the doorbell ring? The next morning I warned Mary. Mrs. Gobblecracker is 507 years old, and she has black teeth that are sharp like needles, and her pockets are full of dirty tissues, and she could be on her way over here right now, so don't act like a baby. I've never seen a monster so scared. When I hear the doorbell, I run downstairs. Did you hear the doorbell ring? Nope. I didn't hear anything. Okay, I'll get it, I say. Oh. I run and hide under my parents' bed. There's something warm and furry under the bed. Someone's already hiding under this bed. It's Mary. I'll jump out and scare her when she least expects it, Mrs. Gobblecracker says. Have you seen my cape? I whisper. Mary reaches behind her and hands me my cape, all wrinkled up in a ball. She always takes my things and doesn't return them. I'm going to battle, I tell her as I put on my cape. Can I help? Nope, too dangerous. And then as fast as I can, I run into Luke's room to look for his darts. But when I hear footsteps coming closer, I dive into his closet to hide. It's dark and warm and kind of smelly, and actually I'm very happy in the closet, and so I decide to stay. Days and days go by, probably. I can hear my family saying, "Where's Rascal?" They'll never find me, I giggle. The footsteps again. Oh no, she's going to find me. The closet door opens. It's just boring old Luke. Rascal, what the heck are you doing in here? He asks me. Leave me alone, I scream. I'm so angry that he ruined my hiding spot. Don't find me! Don't find me! I shout. Don't find me! And then I kick and I bang and I throw some things and I cry so hard the room looks blurry and upside down. And after I'm done crying, I feel all better. Can I borrow a dart? I ask Luke, drying my tears. You're nuts, he says, and walks away, which I think means yes. I take the dart and run. In the hallway, I run into Mary. She's pointing and jumping up and down. Mrs. Gobblecracker went downstairs. She's in the living room. What are you going to do? She yells. I'm going to shoot her with this special sleeping dart. It will make her sleep for 100 years. Wow, says Mary. That's a good idea. Don't follow me, I warn her. Just in case Mary's following. There she is, just sitting there. I hold my dart ready to shoot it across the room. Ready, 1, 2. Wait a minute. What did Violet just say? I'm the mommy and you're the daddy, says Violet. they playing house? I stop my battle. I drop my dart. I want to play house. No, now we just need a baby, says Violet. Baby? Did someone say baby? I could be the baby! My sister and brother look at me very carefully, trying to decide. I show them my cutest baby face. Goo, I say. Goo moo gajibu goo? Says Luke. Well, says Violet. Says Luke. I have a better idea, says Violet, grabbing Cherry. Cherry can be the baby. Great idea, says Luke. She's much quieter. And cuter, says Violet. Stupid old baby Cherry, I think, using my scariest voice. I clench my teeth and I warn her, just wait. One day I'll get you. As I walk away, I hold my head up high and I think, I don't have time to play anyway. I'm way too busy. But what was I so busy doing? I can't remember. Uh-oh. I know I was in the middle of something. She slips on the banana peel. When I get back to my room, I snuggle in bed with my bunny. Then Mary comes in with my dart. Oh, yeah, I say. I was just about to shoot Mrs. Shh. Did you hear that? Creaky sounds are coming from the stairs. Even the upstairs hallway monster is scared and wants to hide out in my room. We peek out and see Mrs. Gobblecracker looking angrier than before. It's time for me to be the brave one. 1, 2, 3, I whisper, and then we jump out and shoot my dart. Where is that little girl? Right in the butt. Mrs. Gobblecracker stumbles around. She's walking into the wall. Her knees are bending. Her eyes are closing. She collapses. I'll find that little girl when I wake up, she mumbles. And then she's sound asleep. Oh my, I have to tell Luke and Violet. They should know that I shot Mrs. Gobblecracker because I was so quick and tricky and I had such good aim. They should know that no baby could do what I did. They should know. Right in the butt. I run to the living room and jump right on Violet's lap. I cut my hand round her ear. I whisper my secret. Mrs. Gobblecracker is asleep in the upstairs hallway. I shot her with a sleeping dart. I'm dead serious. Mom, Rascal's bothering us, calls Violet, pushing me off her lap. What is she doing? Calls my mother from the kitchen. She's spitting in my ear. No, I'm not. I'm telling you a secret, I shout. But before my mother comes in the room, I run away as fast as I can. As I'm dashing up the stairs, I hear my mom say, where did Rascal come up with this crazy Mrs. Gobblecracker game? I stop to listen. I have no idea, says Violet. How would we know, says Luke. And then I run down the hallway to my room, being careful not to trip on the body lying on the floor. Chapter 3, Chicken Bone. As I step over Mrs. Gobblecracker's body on my way to breakfast, I start to worry. 100 years sounds like a very long time, but what if 100 years goes by really fast? I decide to wear my cow costume disguise, just in case Mrs. Gobblecracker wakes up, just to be safe. Aren't you hot in that? Asked Luke. No. Yes. I don't want Mrs. Gobblecracker to recognize me. She's in her cow costume. Stop talking about Mrs. Gobblecracker, screams Violet. Stop talking about Mrs. Gobblecracker. I copy her. Stop copying me. Stop copying me. While Mrs. Gobblecracker is asleep, I finally have time to hang out with Luke and Violet. I try to get Luke and Violet to laugh at me. Cereal time, I've discovered, is the best time for laughing. If I can get milk to come out of my nose, they always laugh. And if my parents sleep late, I can make them laugh by saying bathroom words. And then the toilet broke. But after cereal time, I have to work much harder to get their attention. If you want, you can milk me, I offer Violet. Ew, says Violet. Okay, I'll milk myself and fill up a glass for you, I offer. Get away from me, screams Violet. I follow Luke and Violet around the house, thinking of ways to impress them. Mary follows me. Can I draw a mustache on Mrs. Gobblecracker while she's asleep? Asks Mary. No, that's way too tricky, I say. But she's snoring really loud, says Mary. I'm busy, I say, waving her away. Hey guys, do you want to see a magic trick? See the stick in this hand? I say, and then I put my hands behind my back. Now it's in this hand. Ta-da! That's the worst trick I've ever seen, says Luke. There's Violet trying to pull out Luke's tooth. So, I'm going to pull it out. Ready? 1, 2. They didn't even want to see me eat a napkin. They're playing Twister. Want to see me eat a napkin? She says. Should you eat napkins? I don't think so. Oh. Hey guys, you know, I could sing without opening my mouth. Listen, I'm dead serious. Listen. Can you please hum somewhere else, says Luke. It's not humming, it's singing, I say. Wait a minute. Is that sweat? Says Violet, looking up. Are you covered in sweat? She asks. Take that thing off. Nope, I say and fold my arms. I will not. Why do you always have to act like such a baby? Asks Violet. Then my mom yells, Rascal, it's 100 degrees. Take that costume off right this second. I am boiling mad. I was singing. You are interrupting. I collapse onto the kitchen floor. The tile feels cool on my hot face. My tears fall onto the diamond patterns in the tile that I know so well from the many temper tantrums on the kitchen floor. As I'm screaming and kicking and crying, I unbutton my cow costume and strip down to my underwear because it's way too hot to have this temper tantrum in a cow costume. Not because they told me to. When I'm all done, I put on my bathing suit and I go outside. Oh, who's awake? I find Mary asleep under a tree. Are you real sleeping or fake sleeping? I ask her. Real sleeping, she says without opening her eyes. Now even Mary doesn't want to play. I lie in the hammock all by myself and think maybe Luke and Violet are right. Maybe I am a baby. I think of all the babyish things I do. I still smell my bunny and suck my fingers to fall asleep. I still put my clothes on inside out. I still can't whistle. I still overflow everything I pour. I still want to wear my nightgown all day. When I look up at the trees through my tears, I see someone up there looking down at me. Who are you? I ask, rubbing my eyes, squinting into the sun. I'm your fairy godmother, says a little man, crawling down from the tree like a koala. Are you sure? I ask. You don't look like a fairy godmother. I'm pretty sure, he says, but he looks kind of confused to me. Well, the important thing is I'm here to help you. He says his name is Mr. Nuggy, and he lives in the woods. Boy, do I need help, I say. Can you turn me into something else? I have too many problems as a human. Sure, he says. How about a pineapple? Okay, I say, shrugging. Why not? He takes out his wand. 1, 2, 3, ta-da! I look down at my body. I don't feel like a pineapple, I say. Do I look like one? Mr. Nuggy looks at me very carefully. He sniffs me and he pokes me, and then he sadly shakes his head no. I'm sorry. It's okay. But then I have an idea. How about a puppy? I say. Can you turn me into a puppy? Definitely, he says, jumping up and down excitedly. No problem at all. He's lucky that I'm already really good at turning into a puppy. 1, 2, 3. He waves his wand. I drop to my hands and knees. Woof, woof, woof. I bark and wag my tail. Mr. Nuggy looks very pleased. I turned into a puppy just in time. She still has the dart sticking out of her butt. Where did that little girl go? She was just out here. And where did this stupid dog come from? Mrs. Gobblecracker asked Mr. Nuggy. You must be imagining things, says Mr. Nuggy. There's no girl here. I know you're up to something, Nuggy, she says. Your silly little tricks have never worked on me. Watch out, says Mr. Nuggy. This dog bites. I bark my head off at Mrs. Gobblecracker. Somebody get this dog to shut up, says Mrs. Gobblecracker. She has absolutely no idea that it's me. I say, which means my human days are over, and boy, do I mean it. Mr. Nuggy says, I have to go now. My wife needs me home for dinner. He starts to back up the tree. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I bark up the tree after him, which means, wait, what's your phone number? You can call me from any banana, he calls down. No numbers. And then he disappears into the summer leaves. Violet and Luke come outside to play frisbee, and I run to tell them the news. I have great news! Mrs. Gobblecracker will never find me. Really? You decided to stop acting like a baby? Asked Violet. No, I decided to stop acting like a human, I say. Oh, brother, says Violet. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. No problem, I say, because I can't talk anyway. Whoop, whoop! Whoop, 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 I say, chasing after the frisbee. What the heck is this? She's pulling the dart out of her butt finally. Beat it, says Violet. But Luke says, come here, puppy, and he pets me. What's your puppy name? I have to think of a very good name so Luke will be excited to play with me and concentrate really hard. Finally, I say my name without really opening my mouth since puppies don't talk. Chicken Bone. Your name is Chicken Bone? I nod my head yes and say, whoop, whoop, whoop. Luke looks pleased. Do you have an owner? He asks. I shake my head no and make my saddest puppy eyes ever. Well, he says, petting me, I could be your owner, but you have to be a good dog. Woof, woof, woof! I jump around and wag my tail and do somersaults to show how happy I am. It turns out Luke really wants to be a dog owner. I never knew. I have long, shaggy white fur with brown spots, and I have a pink polka-dotted bow and a wet nose, and I'm very jumpy. I usually have spit on my face. Luke just can't get enough of me. He loves Chicken Bone. And that's how I became a dog named Chicken Bone, and how Mrs. Gobblecracker was left hanging around my house looking kind of bored and confused. I guess she is waiting for me to come back. And that's about halfway. If you want to know what happens to Mrs. Gobblecracker, listen in next week. Goodbye.